Hey everyone, it's Caitlin and welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to be giving you my advice on how to start a yoga practice. If you guys watch my vlogs here on YouTube or follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I post a lot about my yoga journey and how I love yoga. And because I post a lot about it, I also get a lot of questions from you guys on tips for how to start yoga or how to get better at yoga. So I am finally getting around to it and filming this video and going to tell you guys my personal advice on how to do so. So just as a disclaimer, I am not a certified yoga teacher. I'm just sharing, like I said, my personal story and my personal tips. Obviously everyone is different, so if this applies to you, great. If it doesn't, don't sue me, I'm not liable. So just as a brief background, I think the first time I did yoga, I was in early college, probably like a freshman in college. That'd be 2012. It's now 2017. And the first time I did yoga, it was because my friend who was a dancer encouraged me to do a video with her on YouTube, and I absolutely hated it. I thought it was boring and long and really hard to hold things, but for some reason I decided that I wanted to do it because I found it so challenging. I did it more and I kind of grew to like it, but I never really did it that consistently. I would do it like maybe once or twice a month. But then in May of 2016, I moved down to Miami and I didn't have access to a gym right away. So I decided it would be a fun idea to practice yoga every day because I didn't really have any other way to exercise and it was too hot to run outside. So I did that and I basically fell in love with it, and I've been practicing it almost every day ever since. So it's just been a little bit over a year, but I feel like I have really grown as a person, like mentally and physically, thanks to my yoga practice, and I can't see my life without it. So I'm really happy that I did it, but I don't want to get too much into my story. This is mostly going to be tips for you guys, so let's get straight to that. Alright, so first I just need to say, for everyone who's asking me on how do I start yoga, what do I do? Honestly, you just have to start. It's like the Nike thing. Just do it. And I know that's not what people want to hear, because sometimes when we're a little apprehensive about something, we want to have it planned out perfectly. We want it to go smoothly. Just like, for example, starting a YouTube channel or putting yourself out there and doing something you may not be that comfortable with. You don't really want to do it, so you want someone to give you a set plan on how to do it. But in reality, you just need to bite the bullet and do it. And it may not be perfect at first. It probably won't be perfect at first, but the point is that you're trying, and unless you start trying, you're never going to get better at it and you're never going to actually do it. So you just gotta do it, guys. And also, one of my biggest, not pet peeves, but things that makes me go like, is when people say, I really want to start yoga, but I'm not flexible enough. Guys, that is the reason why you should start doing yoga. Like, yoga is not for super flexible yogis. While there are a lot of people who are super flexible who just do yoga because it like works very naturally with their body type, anyone can do yoga. Yoga is for everyone. Yoga welcomes everyone. So you guys should just try it out. But I know you guys want me to tell you how to actually do it, so now I'm going to get into that. I think the easiest way to start yoga and see if you like it or not is to practice using online videos first. However, I will say that you need to have a good sense of body awareness to practice yoga. So for example, I was an athlete, I guess, in high school. I did high school sports. I was a pretty active person, and so I had a pretty good awareness of my body in space, or kinesthesia. But some people just simply do not have this awareness, and it's totally okay if you don't. Some people just don't realize, like, if they stick their leg in the air or like put their arm behind their back, they wouldn't be able to tell you where it is. So they wouldn't be able to tell you if their shoulders were aligned over their hips or if their feet were hips distance apart. In that example, I really do think that it is best for you to go to a yoga class and have a yoga teacher help you just initially, because if you start out doing the postures all wrong and you're going to continue doing it that way, it's going to be so much harder for you to learn them correctly. However, if you have a general good body sense, or like if you can't afford to go see a teacher right away, One of my favorite tips is to just get a full-length mirror. I have like the body size one. It's like this wide and it's pretty tall. And I just have that somewhat near me when I'm practicing yoga. So I'm not constantly looking into the mirror when I do my yoga practice, but if I know I need to check my alignment on something, or I want to make sure that my knees are over my hips and my shoulders are over my wrists, I can just glance into the mirror really quickly, and that gives me a sort of check so I can make sure I'm doing it at least somewhat correctly. Another good way to check if you are doing something correctly is to actually record yourself with just a video. You don't have to put it out anywhere, you don't have to share it with anyone, but you can just record yourself and then watch it later and be like, oh, my down dog actually is really horrible, because that happened to me in the past and then I fixed it. So now for actual classes, I think the best free resource is totally YouTube, which is great because you're already on YouTube watching this video, but there are a ton of different channels out there that will post YouTube yoga videos ranging in different time lengths and different intensities. For beginners or someone just starting out, I would really recommend Leslie Fightmaster, Yoga with Adriene, and Yoga with Tim. I really like a lot of the videos that they put out, but that being said, there are so many different styles of yoga and so many different teachers. So if you try a video and you don't like it at first, search for another video and maybe you'll like that one more. Also, both Leslie Fightmaster and Yoga with Adriene have yoga challenges that I think range from like 30 days to 90 days. So if you're really looking to commit to something, I think those are great ways to start out and get a sort of introductory feel of yoga. That's what I did when I first started practicing every day. And like I said, there are so many different types of yoga, so I just wanted to quickly name 3. For example, vinyasa is the most common, and that's more when you're flowing and constantly moving with your breath. Ashtanga is more of a series and you do the same series every time. However, there are Ashtanga videos out there on YouTube. And another example would be Yin Yoga, Y-I-N, and that is more restorative with longer holds. So if you're just looking to relax, maybe you want to look more into Yin Yoga, but if you're looking to like get your body moving, you might want to look into more vinyasa. And you can Google like vinyasa yoga for the morning 30 minutes or yin yoga 1 hour into YouTube, and I'm sure a video is going to pop up, and just try it out. Also, another thing to keep in mind is to ask yourself why you don't like a certain type of yoga or a specific class. Do you not like it because you actually do not like it, it does not feel good for your body, or do you not like it because it's challenging and you don't want to challenge? Because I've definitely gone through that, and I've realized when I don't like a certain style of yoga and when I like a certain style of yoga, but it's just really hard, so I kind of struggle through it, but then I get better with time. Now, eventually, you are going to outgrow YouTube. I know we all love free things, and we have to realize that people are putting a lot of time and effort into filming these videos. So I'm sorry, but if you want to advance as a yogi, you're going to have to either find an online membership site that you pay for or start going to classes. So first I started to do an online membership site. I've talked about it in videos before. It's thrivingplantbased.com. It's by my friend Michelle. She's Banana Blondie 108 on Instagram. And she has over 100 different yoga tutorials on the site, ranging from beginner to advanced classes. And I think joining this website was one of the best things I did for my yoga practice. It definitely helped me to advance the most. She has full-length classes as well as instructional videos for specific poses. And there's also a forum where you can ask her specific questions regarding a pose, and it's super, super affordable. I think it's like $14 a month, which is way less than even one yoga class at a studio. I'm sure there are other yoga websites out there, however, I've never come across them, and I've been using this one for over a year, and I'm really happy with it. By the way, this video is not sponsored by them. I literally am a paying member. I'm happy to support my friends, so just had to put that out there because I know someone was going to ask. Now, part 2. At some point, you need to go to a yoga studio. And I know yoga studios can be really expensive, and it is kind of a privilege to go to one because, yes, most yoga studios classes are $20. However, you need to have an actual yoga teacher be there physically with you, because a yoga teacher can cue you via an online video, but they don't know exactly what you're doing, and you may be compensating or doing something incorrectly in a different way than what they would anticipate, and they're never going to be able to correct you because they can't see you, and you're never going to be corrected unless you go to a class where someone can see you in real time. Yoga also is essentially a practice. You can't really, for example, teach yourself how to play guitar on your own. I mean, you can, it would take a lot of extra effort, but most people will go to a teacher to give them lessons. That's the same thing with paying to go to a yoga class. You're paying someone who's more knowledgeable than you to teach you, and it's a lot faster than studying it and learning completely on your own. Also, a yoga class in an actual studio just feels so much different because there's an energy of so many other people moving and practicing around you, and it really is an incredible experience. While I love my home practice, I love going to studios as well, and I do really think that going to a yoga studio is so beneficial because you can get tired of videos, or you can memorize videos and sort of half-ass the motions and go through it. But typically when you go to a yoga class, the flow is going to be different every time. So you're challenged and you can't really anticipate what's going next. And because you're in a room with people and someone is watching you do the poses, I feel like you're a lot less likely to, like I said, half-ass something or not do the posture completely. And like I said, yes, yoga studios can be expensive, but there are ways around it. If you live in a major city, a lot of studios will offer community classes, which are usually discounted classes at a later time of night, or they'll offer free classes. I know here in Miami, I think there's a free yoga class almost every day of the week. If you look, you can search on Facebook events or Eventbrite, and I know a lot of Lululemons have free yoga classes on the weekends, so that's something you can totally look into, and that's a great way to start out. Also, I think going to a studio teaches you how to flow on your own, and at some point I would encourage people to start flowing or doing yoga on their own, like without a teacher or without a set plan. I didn't start doing this until like 3 or 4 months ago, but I really do think that it has deepened my personal practice. And when you're starting out, it may be a little bit awkward, and it obviously won't be as flowy as a teacher who has had years of experience teaching you, like in a class. But you can sort of piece together different things you remember from a certain flow, like, oh, I really liked when we did Warrior 2 to Warrior 3 or something, and you just work with that, or you think about a specific pose that you want to work on. And it's really nice to just sort of play your own music, or don't play music if that's not your thing, and zen out, or just listen to your body and be like, hey, my hips are really tight today, I'm going to practice hip openers. I remember doing these postures before in different classes that really helped my hips feel open, so I'm going to try to combine them in some way. At the end of the day, yoga is totally a personal practice, and it is always up to you. You can make of it whatever you want, and you don't have to pay lots and lots of money to practice yoga. You don't have to have perfect clothes to practice yoga. It's all really about your intention and your dedication to the mat and to the practice. So you just have to begin and find what you love and continue with that. And your yoga practice may look completely different from someone else's, but that's okay. As long as it makes you feel happy, that's what's right for you. Finally, I just wanted to briefly go over yoga props, or things that you need to practice yoga. Obviously, you need a yoga mat. I would say that's the #1 thing you have to have, and that's the most essential thing. Now, when I started yoga, I was like, man, yoga mats are really expensive. I'm just going to buy this cheap one, and then maybe if I really like yoga, I'll buy another one. So then I did that, and I was like, okay, yeah, I need to upgrade my mat. And then I bought a slightly more expensive one, and then that one kind of wore out. And then I was like, okay, fine, I guess I need to buy a nicer mat. So personally, I would just suggest you bite the bullet and buy a nicer mat to begin with, because if you want to practice yoga, it will be so much more fun for you and so much easier for you if you just buy a mat where your hands will actually stick to it, and you won't be slowly sliding forward in down dog, or not be able to grip the mat during harder postures when you need a mat to grip on. So personally, I would recommend 2 mats. There are Jade yoga mats and Manduca mats. I used to use Jade mats, now I use Manduca mats. I think the Jade mat's really nice. It is very sticky. It is more eco-friendly. However, it only has a 1-year warranty, and I know a lot of people who really love the mat, so I wanted to mention it. But for me, it wore out after about 3 months, and the mat just started disintegrating and getting plastic all over my apartment. I thought maybe I got a weird mat, so I got another mat from them. They replaced it because of the warranty, but it did the same thing. But some people really like them, so I would suggest looking into it a little bit more. Now I use a Manduca mat. This is a Manduca Pro Mat. It's a little bit heavier. It's more heavy duty. It's not as sticky as the jade mat, but I still don't slide during any intense postures. And the thing I like about Manduca is it has a lifetime warranty. Another thing that's important that I would suggest are to get yoga blocks. You can get some foam ones. They're always super affordable. I decided to splurge and get some cork ones just recently, but these are really nice. They help you with alignment, and they can also help you with some more restorative poses. And then the final prop that I would suggest, especially if you're not too flexible, is a yoga strap. Now, you don't have to buy a yoga strap. You could also use a belt, but I will say sometimes a belt is just too short, and at some points it's really awkward because I just used to use a belt and now I have a strap. And even though I'm a pretty flexible person and when I'm laying down I can like grab my toe with my hands, a strap still does come in handy sometimes and allows you to get more leverage and go deeper into a pose. And then finally, this one is totally optional, but as I'm sure you guys know, there are a ton of websites out there that sell cute yoga clothes. And like I said, you could practice yoga naked if you want to, or you can wear some ratty gym wear. It really doesn't matter, but like people like to invest in cute gym wear and it kind of makes you feel good when you're working out. That's how I kind of feel about yoga clothes, so I personally like buying yoga clothes. If you are interested in getting all these props in one spot, I would actually really recommend the website yogaoutlet.com. I am an ambassador with them, but I do think it's a really good site because they sell all of my favorite yoga brands in one place, so it's really easy to just place one order at that store for like yoga blocks and a yoga mat and a strap and maybe a cute outfit, and you don't have to go to like 4 different stores from 4 different brands to get all of those things. And I know this video is already long enough, so I'm just going to end it here. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer them. And thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you in the next video. Bye!